Let's now take you to Limpopo, where traffic volumes are peaking along the N1 as holidaymakers enter the Limpopo province. Newzroom Afrika's Linda Mnisi is live from us in Polokwane and joins us now. A very busy part of the country, usually during this time, Linda.
Absolutely, Bravi, and in fact we've been driving around just to get a sense of what the N1 is looking like at this hour. And moving from Polokwane, now I can tell you we're next to the Zebediela Toll Plaza, and this is between Mokopane and Polokwane, and we're noticing that these cars are starting to trickle in. It's not been that busy as yet, and I'll ask my colleague Max Silotolo to give you a brief sense of what it looks like from where we're standing. One would ordinarily know that around this time, especially if you're coming from Gauteng and Johannesburg, along the N1 North, you would expect that areas like Midrand, Centurion, that's when the traffic volumes are peaking. At this point, it's still moving quite slow, relatively quiet from this point on, and this is the route that takes you straight now to Polokwane. And at this particular moment, like I said yesterday, it seems to be the calm, Bravi, before the storm, because soon enough, later this evening, this road will be quite busy, and that means a lot of work for authorities who are on the ground to try and ensure that everybody that's on the road is safe during this time. It happens, Bravi, at a time when, just last year, you'd recall, over 40 people losing their lives in just one particular accident. You'd recall an 8-year-old girl being the only survivor, and they were coming all the way from Botswana. And just briefly, before I bring in my guests, I want to give you a sense of what it's looking like on this side as well, so you get a better view from this point onwards. But let's bring in Steve Majena, who is from the Limpopo Transport Department. Steve, thank you so much for your time. I imagine there's a lot of, I would say, anxiety, given that last year we had a very tragic accident, over 40 people losing their lives in just one accident. Talk to us about how you're making sure that history does not repeat itself.
Thank you very much. I mean, fingers crossed. We don't want to see what we saw last year. And then in terms of our plan, it was very robust, very, very critical, because we utilized the data that we collected from last year to craft this plan. But in the main, it's all about visibility. It's all about capacity of our traffic officers. We have deployed them in critical areas because in terms of our data from last year, we know the areas that are problematic. If you look at the toll gates, that's where most of them are actually placed. But also we've got vehicles that are roaming the highway just to check if there are no issues, there are no problems. And we've got our control room that is readily available, ready to just dispatch information to all our traffic officers so that at any point that we have a problem, because what you'd imagine is if there is a blockage on the road, a car broken down, we want to make sure that within few seconds it's removed from the road so that we don't have a build-up. But also, because we're working with Central very well, we are watching the congestion like a hawk. In an event that we feel now it's enough, it's a lot, and then the threshold is actually above what we need, we're going to engage Central so that they can maybe open the toll so that we have a smooth sailing of traffic, so that at the end of the day, the more you're going to have slowness of traffic, you have congestion, impatience will creep in from motorists, and you know what happens next. Once you have got impatience from motorists, they'll start driving recklessly, and we're going to have problems. We're trying our best, especially your taxis and your buses. That's where our focus is. We're trying our best just to ensure that we don't have challenges. And then this is a message that we've given them throughout the week to say, make sure that all your vehicles are roadworthy, especially buses that are going to our church.
You talk about a lot of areas that are quite problematic. Which are those hotspots areas that usually give you guys a problem?
You do know that Limpopo, especially the N1, it's not flat. Areas where there's an incline, you're going to have buses and trucks that are struggling. Motorists with the smaller vehicles may then start to create a lot of problems when it comes to impacts. And in areas also where there's a decline, trucks that are loaded and buses that are actually carrying passengers, they may start to have challenges with brakes when they are needed to stop abruptly. So those are the areas that we were really focusing on. But also, where the road has a lot of curves, our data tells us that many areas that normally would then attract accidents. That's where we have deployed. That's why we're ensuring that there's visibility. At night, you're going to see that those areas have got actually blue lights. But also, there are areas where you find motorists who drop their luggages, maybe trucks dropping their spare tires. That's where that is very dangerous. At night, we're going to ensure that our vehicles that are roaming the highway are going to make sure that those things are removed.
And yesterday we were along the R71, right? Very quiet, relatively quiet. We were seeing mobile toilets going into Moria, dealing with the congestion there, because we know it can last days. What is the plan?
Especially with R71, the plan is that 24/7 we are going to be there. You saw the preparations. We are going to be there 24/7. In the main, at night, there are areas, especially where there are liquor outlets closer to the roads. We are going to deploy officers. They are there already. At night, they will be there with blue lights, because we do know that the blue light itself can really make a huge difference, because it's visible 5 kilometers away. You can be able to see it. We are going to ensure that pedestrians themselves are not on our roads. Those that are going to enjoy the parties and everything else, when they are on our roads, we're going to ensure that we guide them off. But those who are insisting, unfortunately, we're going to have to work with the law enforcement just to have them locked up for the night, and we'll release them the next day. Because this year we're saying no one should be able to die because of an accident. After all, we're saying to every motorist, we are all pedestrians before we are motorists.
And I was about to ask you about your message to motorists. Somebody is watching you right now, preparing to leave their home. They want to know exactly what is happening in Limpopo. They want to be safe, most importantly. What would you advise them to do at this particular moment?
I think to our motorists, what we are saying is we have given them enough message. What I can say to them is that exercise patience when you drive. Just plan your trips properly so that you don't rush when you are on our roads. As in you're driving, make sure you keep your cell phone away from you, because the cell phone itself, when you text, you don't know what is happening in front of you while you are texting. Those who are going to enjoy parties, don't drink and drive. Make sure at all times that if you are going to drink, have someone who's going to help you to drive, or sleep over where you are. And motorists, please make sure that you watch out for pedestrians at all times, because once you knock off a pedestrian and they die because you knock them off, you can imagine what's coming after you. Legal issues, law-related matters that are going to follow you. I don't know up to when, but let's just ensure that we respect them on the road. They are also road users as you see them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. That's Steve Majena there, who is the HOD in the Department of Transport here in Limpopo. You're talking to us really about the plan, right, that they have this Easter weekend, giving, road users a message of, safety, ensuring that they are patient during this time. He talks about how, those curves, those uphill roads are usually the hot spots where you find trucks and buses struggling to climb. So patience is what, is required in those particular situations. Vuyo?